And we are back. Got a special guest. We're going to try to have a special guest on every Tuesday until people start telling us no, then it'll just be me and Brian or whatever. But hey, you know, Voch, Bryan Broaddus. We got Skywalker Steele in the building. So do I have a sound for you on my board? No, I ain't got it on my board, man. It's been a minute. But Skywalker Steele's in the building. What's good, sir?
No. I want to be a part of the. Hey, we doing all right because this is the We Doing All Right podcast. I'm doing all right.
Sky, how you doing? Right? How you doing, Sky?
I feel so honored to be a part of that. You know, we doing all right here. Let's get into it.
Yeah, my man was. You know, he was. I'm not going to ask you. I'm not even going to ask you anymore. Yeah. We're doing all right, and then we just dive into this show.
I love
Here
it.
we go.
You know, Bryan Broaddus, I was thinking about something, man. I was just thinking.
What were you thinking about, man? What were you thinking about today?
Let me ask you a personal question, Bryan Broaddus. Have you ever in your past life wanted to
be a long answer? Don't you?
No, don't worry about it. Have you ever in your past life wanted to be like a game show host, like a TV game show host? Have you ever wanted to do that?
Oh man, I mean, you're talking to a guy that grew up in the 70s.
Yeah.
You know, with the I mean, you know, card sharks,
$64,000 question.
Question, my man. Name this guest. Whose line is it? You know,
Family Feud.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I feel that way, Brian, because whenever you have questions for us, right, you switch from Bryan Broaddus to, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I got a little something for y'all tonight. Voch, if you don't mind, here we got some questions for it. And I feel like you wanted to be a game show host in one of your former lives, just football took over.
You know what? Football did take over. It would have been fun to be Gene Rayburn or somebody like that, or you know, I mean, I would have loved to have been a game show host. I always find this because I'm very fascinated by people's opinions, people that I trust, you know, especially in football, and it's really the scout in me, because when you sit in meetings, you ask a bunch of questions. You always ask questions, and to the point where they get tired of you asking questions, you know, and that's where I learned, because you could really, when you ask questions, you can figure out how committed somebody really is. You can, you know, somebody talking about a player and you start to say, well, wait, well, yesterday you said this about this guy.
Sure.
How committed are you? Do you feel like the guy we're talking about right now is better than that guy you were talking about yesterday? You know, and then if you find a way to kind of get people not to ride the fence. I mean, I learned a lot about people that can answer questions, especially my crazy ass questions.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got some crazy ass questions that y'all brought to you by your host, Bryan Broaddus.
Thank you very much. Steele, since we got you on this thing, I'm going to ask you this question right off the jump.
Let's do it.
Is Overshown currently your best defensive player?
And I'm not going to ride the fence. Currently? Yes.
Currently.
Right now.
Yes. And this is what I mean. He's playing the best. Trayvon Diggs didn't get tested much last week, right? And we know Diggs is the all-pro coming off the ACL injury. We know what he can do. And I expect him to rise to that occasion to be so. But Overshown brings an aura to this defense that I think is needed right now without Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence on that side of the ball, and really without a bunch of playmakers, right? Like week one, the Cowboys made plays, got a lot of turnovers. Hasn't really come to them the last few weeks, right? In fact, if I'm not mistaken, being Voch, 1 turnover, right? Since week one, correct?
Yeah.
That's not Cowboy football. So I'm looking at a guy who can set the tone and get the guys going. That's DeMarvion Overshown. And Maris Leofau's not far behind because he has that type of energy too. But Demo, you know, I think he has a talent. I think he has a mentality, and he's being productive out there on the field. And that's with all due respect to Trayvon Diggs. But Demo's just more involved down in, down out.
I'll even double down on that, Brian. I'll say even with the whole cast healthy, I still think Overshown's like top 3 or 5.
I was wondering which way you were to go. Okay. Tell me why you think that, and then I'm going to throw another name at you and see if I can draw you off sides.
I think currently right now he is the best player on on defense. Like just watching that dude run around. It's a travesty for the coaches to come out and be like, oh, well, we didn't practice much in sub packages, you know, so well, we just gonna sit him down for the base stuff. That's nonsense. That's goofy. He should be in the 5-2 sets, the goal line sets, punt block. He needs to be a part of everything because he's clear. When I saw him, Scott, you haven't heard me say this. I've told Brian this. We're playing against the Giants, right? And they found a way to get Neighbors on Overshown. Any other time, right? Neighbors on your linebacker is some nonsense. But now Overshown wrangled that boy up, and it was just, hey, tackle for what, 2 yards or whatever, right? So when I look at that from a linebacker perspective, that's more valuable than what I'm getting than what, like if DeRon Bland was healthy or something. Look, DeRon Bland can play some good football, but that from a linebacker perspective is more than what Trey is doing right now. Micah can demand like a triple team or something, so I wouldn't put him over Micah. But like if you D-Law and you're run stop guy, but you're not getting sacks, Overshown's doing some ridiculous stuff. So I still think regardless, he's like a top 3 guy.
Where's Jordan Lewis on this list?
Just like right up under him, like right up, like right now. As far as the guys that's playing right now,
B, you might caught me with an encroachment right here, man.
I just gave you the Dan Marino.
Hey
man, you might got a free play on me right there because Jay Lou's a dog.
I just tossed that ball over the top.
You damn straight.
Damn.
You damn straight.
Okay,
You did.
okay. Where's Lewis on this team then? Are you guys telling me how much this linebacker, you love this linebacker. You love this linebacker. Linebacker's damn good, by the way. Yeah. I ain't making fun of you guys. And I had people always, have asked before, and they've talked about Diggs. I don't think Diggs is even close to what we've seen from Overshown or Lewis at all.
Yeah. It's close. Not only just from the cover stuff, but like how Lewis comes up and tackles and the physical side and the competitive stuff. And look, man, we just been trying to cut this guy ever since his 3rd year or something. The whole Chris Richard thing and all these other characters, man. We just been looking for reasons to get Lord Jordan Lewis out of here. And now I think he's playing some of the best corner on your team right now for sure.
Yeah. Jordan Lewis said in the offseason, getting Mike Zimmer here, he said, I'm going to play better in this scheme. This scheme is built for me. And when Zimmer got here, I said he's going to love Jay Lou because Zim likes those veteran cornerbacks that can get his system down pat. And if there's one guy, not just on the defense, just on the team in general, top 5 steady player, Jordan Lewis. Yeah. Every game has been just a steady hand. There's no shaking here. So, yeah, man, you caught me in the neutral zone there. It's tough for me to not say Jay Lou just because he's been so steady. Yes, the big plays aren't there, and Overshown down in, down out is around the ball more just because of the nature of the position. But man, Jay Lou, that's a good answer.
I tell you what though, Bryan Broaddus, we are really gonna find out this week because Jordan Lewis got Sun God and Overshown got Gibbs, so we definitely gonna find out this week.
No, yeah, there's no question.
Laporta for sure, yeah.
This will be tough. This will be a tough matchup. It's funny. I was just looking at some metric numbers. I'm going to start watching these guys in the morning, but I was looking at some metric numbers. There's nobody that throws the ball across the middle of the field more than this team that you're about to play. So we'll see. I mean, all these crossing routes and things like that, man, it's going to be crazy.
They had a play against Seattle. I just got done watching their offense today in prep for tomorrow. Talk about anticipation. They ran a deep over with Jameson Williams and they had Sam Laporte come under before these guys even crossed. I mean, they're about where's the camera? Right here. You got Jared Goff delivering the ball. Ball's out his hands, thrown into the space. Jameson Williams goes for like 37 yards or whatever.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. This team it's hard to deal with. I can't wait to dive into this. All right, Voch, how about this one for you?
Yes, sir.
Is the red zone offense more of a concern for you than the running game?
Damn, Bryan Broaddus. I say yeah, because your red zone offense, I mean, that's 6 points. I mean, like, if you're in the red zone, you would hope that you walk away with 6. Like, just as a football fan, a football observer, all right, we get to the 20. We expect some type of points out of this, right? And it just seems like this has been a problem for like 8 or 9 years. That could be hyperbolic. Linehan had us right, but especially since the Kellen Moore era, it seems like, man, once we get to the red zone, I just want to start trying to get into the end zone from the 22 or the 25 because once we get inside the 20, it's nonsense, Brian. I think the run game will just eventually figure itself out if you just keep throwing your head up against it. I don't think it's ever going to be optimized like future head coach Ben Johnson got it over there. I don't think it's gonna. Boy, if we can find a way to get Ben Johnson a head coach and Robert Saleh as the damn DC up in here, that's too smart. That's too smart for us. That's too smart. Jerry Jones will never do it. But Brian, it'll never be optimized like the Lions run the football or anything like that. But I do think that if you get a better running back or whatever, shouts out to Rico, he's doing fine. But let's just say that we draft a kid from Boise State and he comes and he's a better running back. The running game will figure itself out. Red zone, we've been as talented as we possibly can get. If your red zone scheme is ridiculous, it will not overcome itself. So yeah, I think red zone is a problem. And look, we're talking about like a team that's like normally number one scoring offense. Right. We've been a number one scoring offense with nonsense red zone stuff going on. Imagine how many Super Bowls we can win if we was good at the red zone stuff.
Sky, what do you got?
I'm gonna flip it on Voch right here.
Por favor.
I'm gonna flip it on you, brother. So I think the red zone would eventually figure itself out because it's done that before. Right? Now I agree. At this current moment, it is the more concern because you haven't scored 3 touchdowns on offense in a game yet. We're going into week 6.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is because you can't punch it in the red zone. But a good part of that is twofold. I don't think they're great schematically down there yet. They don't have an identity. But I also think because they can't run the ball. Yeah. And here's the thing. The red zone offense was like 31st or 30th last year, and you finished 14th. That means it figured itself out. They figured that out. You know what they never figured out, and they have not figured out since 2018? The run game. Yeah. So I'm concerned thinking long term. Maybe we don't even get to the playoffs, y'all. Maybe that doesn't happen. But if the Cowboys get to the playoffs, my concern is, do you have a run game you can trust and you can lean on? Because all the top teams, when it's not going well in the passing game, they could turn around, hand that thing off, and keep you in the game, punching it in the red zone, lean on it when the quarterback's not on that day. Not this Mike McCarthy Dallas Cowboys offense since 2021 or whatever they've been in the playoffs. They've constantly had a very below, if not the worst run game in the playoffs. So I'm concerned about the run game because of the history. And the red zone usually figures itself out long term. So I'm cheating a little bit.
Fair enough.
Man, this one was tough for me, but I kind of feel like the red zone offense it's been a struggle. You guys are right for the number of years and stuff. And man, it almost cost you a damn game the other night.
Sure did.
You wasted it. You could have wasted a pretty solid effort from your defense, the way they played the way they played, and give you the opportunity, to win that game. And you get down there and hand the ball off and, don't get a block and get hit. A guy makes a Mike Singletary play on you, kind of a thing, jumping over the line.
Troy Polamalu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But they get down in the red zone. It terrifies me now because I'm digging the attempted screen passes though. I'm digging them trying to kind of figure that out. I thought that touchdown that Pittsburgh scored with Freiermuth with the shovel, I thought that was a pretty creative thing. And I'm thinking, damn, steal that one. I like that. Ferguson maybe sliding underneath, shovel that thing forward, see what we can get out of it. But I don't know about this. I mean, you get down there and you're just like, what plays is he going to call? He's going to run. Look at the play that they scored on to win the game. 1 yard of separation.
Yeah.
1 yard of separation. The possibility of that play scoring was like less than 45%.
Sure.
And it came down to, that was the call on a 4th and 5. That was the call where drag one across, drag 3 going the other way. Yeah, mesh it. Yeah, and you're like, that's it. That's the one.
That should play.
It worked because your quarterback is made a hell of a throw, and Tolbert ran enough depth into the end zone to catch the ball and not get knocked out and outside the goal line. But man, this red zone offense, I really don't know what to expect.
There's no exaggeration here. I saw there was only one play that you ran in the red zone where there was an open receiver, and it was the play before the 4th down play where Tober sprained his nuts apparently.
Yeah.
But he was open in the end zone there.
Yeah.
That was it. I mean, I'm not exaggerating, y'all. If you go back and watch, not a single player was open. On the fumble, Dak has to just eat the sack because no one's there. Just eat the sack. Don't try to make a play. Yeah. On the interception, I don't know what he was thinking there and hurrying it up. You had 3 timeouts. There was no need to rush that way.
Yeah.
But the red zone, and this is why I said it's a schematic issue. Yeah. They don't really have an identity down there, and they don't. So teams, because they can't run, teams are just sitting back in this cloud, right, in this zone, and they don't know how to beat it with what they're dialing up. So I'm with you. What are you calling down there?
Yeah. It's Mike McCarthy's the low-hanging fruit, but he makes himself the low-hanging fruit because you're like, it's terrifying when they get down there. You got to hope that they score outside the 20.
Yeah.
You just got to hope, because getting down there, it's kind of like, okay, let's try and run the ball. Well, that's not successful. Okay, let's try and throw it. Let's try and throw it again. Oh, maybe try and run, and you just don't know.
Jake Ferguson was the most targeted tight end in the red zone last year.
Yeah,
I don't recall many targets to Jake Ferguson this year.
No, hell no. And they're not. And I don't think defenses are letting him do that.
No,
I don't think that at all.
Bryan Broaddus, let me ask you something before you move on to your next question, Bryan. Me and Will Steele, when we was working together, we would always make this joke, and it's kind of a joke, but you would think that it's a real thing. Bryan, let me ask you this. Voch says this. Do you think Mike McCarthy's trying to save all his best plays to the playoffs? Like, we would say it as a joke, Bryan, but let me if you look at the offense in week 4, it was the nonsense we've been running like the whole time. It's just the nonsense, right? Yeah. But if you look at what the offense did schematically, right, just turnovers aside, what we did last week, it ain't like we gradually, slowly pulled out the good stuff. We just pulled all the good stuff out, and it was totally different from week 4 to week 5. So, Bryan, you think we really got some dope-ass red zone plays? We just not calling them yet? We just waiting until week 17 to call them?
He's waiting to that 49er game. Just break them all out.
I mean, we running screens, picks and rubs. We doing motions, different types of motions.
We spamming motion.
Orbit, sprint, exit, all the motions, Bryan. You think we have good red zone plays? We just waiting to use them? This sounds Bryan, I know it sounds like a joke. I know. But damn.
It sounds like a joke, but I think you guys might be onto something.
I mean, look what happened last year. The first 5 weeks of the season, we're like, what is this?
Yeah.
And they go on a bye week, and somebody yelled at Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy
a lot of people yelled at Mike.
I got to let Dak Prescott do his thing. And next thing you come out, we doing exit motion.
Everything.
We got Dak running around. It's like, well, what happened here?
So, Turpin running the seam. Like, what we doing? What is this?
Shortest guy running the seams, man. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
All right, there. How about this one for you, Voch, on this one?
Yes, sir.
Is it now more critical that the front office trade for a major defensive end?
Is it now? Is it? Damn. Ask it again. What'd you say?
You buying time there, sir?
No, I just didn't care. What'd you say? What'd you say?
You want me to go to Sky? You want me to go to Sky? Who's better prepared?
No, just
you and I.
You stalling. You stalling. Just ask me again. You stalling. What'd you say, man? Chuck.
Is it now more critical that the front office try and attempt to trade for a major defensive end?
I tell you what, Bryan. I think the good news is I think most of your ends are going to eventually come back. You know what I'm saying?
6 weeks.
Eventually, I still, think over time they'll just kind of come back. Man, I would still much rather you find me a one-tech linebacker or like a wide receiver that can go along.
Okay.
With Tober being wide receiver too, or whatever it is that we call Tober now. I'm not saying that we can. I'm not one of these fans that's out here talking, "Oh, Voch, we're much better without Mike and D-Law." Look at this. Like Pittsburgh probably wouldn't have scored if Mike and D-Law were active.
I agree with you on that.
Right.
I agree.
But I feel like if whatever dudes you will go find.
Yeah.
And I mean, whatever. We'll just, D-Law be back, Tyrese Wheaton, Chauncey and them played fine. It could have been the old line that we was going against. I get it. But I think adding a dude at one tech would be much better off for the greater good of this thing.
Sure.
Or adding a dude at wide receiver is much better for the greater good. And I say running back because, look, Rico had a good day. But Rico's best day is still 80-something yards rushing, and he's still a hurt guy. Like Rico did his damnedest to get them 80 yards rushing on the damn 20 carries. He gave all his life force and energy points to get them 80 damn yards, and he still hurt guy. So I would still much rather have a one tech and a running back over a edge guy right now.
How about you, Sky?
I agree with that, but how about this? We kind of look at this situation very similar to 2018 with the wide receivers, where hey man, we got some good effort that's going out there, but we're sitting
by
at
committee, all the committees.
What were we, 3-5 at the time, or something like similar?
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, it wasn't a good record. Not saying the Cowboys are sitting there now, but if you watch the Steelers game, even when Micah and D-Law were there, what they're asking them to do, they haven't really been able to just tee off and get to the quarterback. But they weren't getting to Justin Fields when it was time to throw the ball. Now, were they playing their assignments? Yes. Were they staying disciplined in the ground game? Yes. But it was time to go get the cue. It's like, ooh, Chauncey Golston and Tyrus Weed, and they got one move straight down the middle.
The ball
and if they're not getting pushed, you're in trouble. Yeah. Well, these next couple teams can throw the ball. They can throw the ball a little bit. So if I look at it as if we go out and make an Amari Cooper type trade where you're going to trade for that guy and sign him long term, I'm all for it, because now we're not giving up assets for a rental a la Reddick, which the reason why I brought up Reddick before was, well, if you're going to get Reddick in here, you still need a defensive end for the foreseeable future. So it's not out the question to sign him to like a 3-year deal. But if it's just, hey, we're going to give up a 4th or 3rd round pick for a rental, I'd pass on that. I would, because they would probably use that asset or another asset to get a better one tech, a running back to kind of put you over him. I don't know that a 4th round trade for a rental on somebody's 3rd defensive end is really going to do much for you. You need a dude, like Brian said, trade for a dude. You need a dude. A dude's going to cost you 1 or 2.
Yeah,
Sky, I hated when I was watching Cowboys pass rush against the Steelers and Mozzie do this move where he go in one A gap, but he cross face into the other A gap. Like, you don't do that fast enough for that to be effective, sir. Don't do that no more. I would almost rather Mozzie just
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, then he goes to the other side like that's gonna happen. Man, just bull rush down the middle of this dude, Mozzie. You don't do that fast enough to make that effective, man.
Yeah,
I hate that.
I'll tell you, the point I think would be, the reason I probably wouldn't do it either, and I like your guys' answers. You're going to get Micah Parsons back here in 2 weeks. You're going to get your best pass rusher back. So, but you do have to think about, with Nealon being 6 weeks, maybe more, Tank 6 weeks, maybe more. You are one more injury away from Golston or something like that, to this being really very good.
They're there, Brian. They lost their top 4 defensive ends.
It's crazy. It's crazy what they've lost on that right now. But I like what you guys are talking about with some other positions there. But
give me Herbig. Give me Herbig, Brian. See if we can go trade for Herbig and see if he can come in and change some things around here.
Herbig and
that dude's a dude.
You caught a break. That dude got injured in that game.
I won the game because
he caught that dude. Oh, it looks like they're carrying Herbig. I'm like, oh, thank God.
He was dogging Tyler.
I don't want Herbig's mom to call me and call me a dick like McCaffrey's mom did.
Day 3 pick,
mom,
man.
she called Dawson and I a dick.
Why she do that?
She did. I'm like, hey.
Oh, you didn't hear that last year?
During the Super Bowl. During the Super Bowl, we interviewed her. Mm-hmm. We interviewed remember after that whole thing? It was 2 years. Was it last
2
year?
years. I think it was the
2 years. It was Arizona.
Eagles.
It was Arizona. Yeah. It was Arizona Super Bowl. And we got to interview McCaffrey's mom. And she found out we were the ones that me and Dawson were the ones that were kind of talking about, well, maybe a hamstring, you never know, that kind of thing. And she just went off on us. Me and Dawson were like, and then Dawson had enough and he started going back after her. But,
Look, lady, just beat it.
Exactly.
Beat it. Scram. Let us do our job.
She was not, man, that was a rough couple of weeks by the whole thing. But kind of crazy. But speaking of injuries, by the way, I kind of found out that Bland, they're gonna try and get him to play 20-25 plays this week.
This week?
That surprises me.
This week they're working him in practices and stuff. They want to get him where he's full for the San Francisco game is what they want, but don't be surprised if he gets some action, from what I've been told. About
That's big.
We need him this week because the Lions, them boys scary in San Francisco right now. But yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. All right. How about this one for you, Sky? Should fans be concerned that Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott are having trouble getting the ball to CeeDee Lamb in the second half of games?
Sure. Yeah, I think so. When you're 5 weeks into this thing, in the second half, I believe he has one catch in each game, or 1 or 0.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe he has multiple catches.
Yeah.
And I mean, the only way you can say, "Oh, I'm not too concerned about it," is A, you're winning, like you won these last 2 games. That's happened. And B, it's still Micah and Dak. They'll eventually figure it out, and that's what we all believe. But what I'm noticing, and you guys can let me know if you're peeping this too. Last year, yes, teams pay attention to CeeDee Lamb 100%. But does it feel like they're paying more attention to CeeDee Lamb and making things a little bit more difficult? And you're not really putting him in those same spots, say like a Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors moves around almost every
Zay
play.
Flowers.
Zay Flowers, another one.
The Baltimore Ravens lead the NFL in separation. They're number 1. Baltimore Ravens, number 1. What do? They move their guys around all over the place.
Yeah.
Would you guys like to guess which team is last in the league in separation for their wide receivers?
It got to be us or Carolina or something.
Just keep guessing. I'll give you one more guess.
Okay.
This team is last in the league in separation for their wide receivers.
The Titans?
Nope. You're out. Steele?
So I saw this weird stat. I know it's going to sound crazy. Is it the Saints?
It's the 49ers.
Oh, I almost said the 49ers too.
The 49ers are last through 5 games in wide receiver separation.
Wow.
You would never Dallas, and then Dallas is at the bottom with New England and San Francisco. Those are the bottom 3 teams for wide receiver separation this year. I would have never believed San Francisco.
Me neither, because they're usually, there's guys running wide open all the time. And I have not watched them, admittedly. I have not watched San Francisco.
I just thought it was crazy, but you get the Ravens, and the reason, because I was curious about Detroit. Detroit's another team that has wide receiver separation. They're top 3.
Yeah.
So, but we are concerned. We are concerned about the fact, and you mentioned about not moving him around, and I think that's true. I think if you moved him around more and got him opportunities, you could find ways to get him the ball.
Yeah.
Please.
I'm sorry. Well, one last stat. They are struggling with connecting in man. Last year they had a 70% completion. I think it's per Next Gen Stats. 70% completion rate when in man. I think they're down to sub 40%.
Jeez.
And I think that's because you're so stagnant with him. And when I picked this up a couple years ago with Mike under Kellen Moore. When CeeDee Lamb is in the slot and he's not motioning, he's running one of 2 routes. He's running a slant or he's running down the seam. Now, they don't use him down the seam anymore because he's really their only weapon that's a threat outside. But so he's running quick slants or he's running skinny posts, and teams are sitting. The Steelers sat on so many things in that game, and that's why other guys were able to get open. And because you used motion and you use creative concepts, you got these one-on-ones in this separation in that game. But my bad, Voch.
That's good. Good point.
I'm just mad that everything that happens now, I just know that it's a decision that was made. That's the bad thing about it. Like you made a choice here. And I say that because it's not like, if I would almost feel better if Mike McCarthy was just truly bad at calling plays. If he was just flat out bad at calling plays, I would feel a little better. It's more frustrating that there's this switch that he cuts on. I don't know how he decides to cut it on. That one day he's a bad play caller, and then another day, all right, cool, we're a top 5 offense or something like that. That's what makes me most upset. So I hate it the most, knowing that, CeeDee Lamb probably doesn't get going in the second half. I get really infuriated that if Mike McCarthy chooses for Lamb to go crazy, he'll go crazy. I'll tell you an example. Last year versus Giants, right?
Oh, yeah, that second half of that game, he won the game.
By himself. Eagles game, by himself. Or the other Giants game, where they was like, hey, we need to get Brandon Cooks involved. And Brandon Cooks had like 170-some yards that game. but we ain't seen enough from Brandon Cooks that year. It's all a decision. You made a choice here. So if CeeDee Lamb got 1 catch in 5 games in the second half, Mike chose that. Mike got to go. Yeah. Give me Ben Johnson. Mike got to go.
Yeah, this is the Ben Johnson audition game for Jerry.
Look, the Vikings have inspired me to double down on 2 fire coaches. Let's get Ben Johnson to run this offense. Let's get Robert Saleh to run this defense, sir. I'm inspired.
Let me tell you why I think Big Johnson's he's the perfect person for the Dak Prescott ran offense. They run play action more than anybody in the league. They commit to the run game, but they commit to the run action. That's more important to me. The Steelers commit to the run game. They ran it going to that game more than anybody. They weren't good at it, but they commit to the run action, and that really holds those linebackers, makes the defensive end have to think, oh, well, is this going to be an RPO? Is it going to be reverse? They do all types of crazy things within their run game, and Dak would thrive with just a competent run game that's a threat come playoff time. The Cowboys have not had it, and I think Ben Johnson would bring that mentality to this team.
You know what's interesting about Ben Johnson? He works for a crazy ass head coach. Mm-hmm. And I mean this in a respectful way, because this dude will go for it at the drop of a hat. You know, you can sometimes get these guys in long yardage situations on 2nd and 3rd down, and they'll hand the ball off. They'll run the ball, like the other day when McCarthy on 3rd and 6 called the toss to Dowdle that got big yards. It was like, holy geez, 3rd and 6, he just ran the ball and got a first down. Campbell goes for it so much on 4th down that he's so unconventional the way he plays sometimes that Ben Johnson's like, he'll take 2nd and say you get him in 2nd and long. He'll run the ball. He'll get him in 3rd and long. He'll run the ball because he's thinking, well, I'm going to get it. If it's 3rd and 9, I'm going to run the ball here, get 7 yards, and he's going to go for it on 4th and 2. Yeah. And now, it's a hard team to play because the head coach is not a conventional head coach when it comes to by the book stuff. Now, we got a lot of head coaches in the league that are getting away from the by the book stuff, but this guy, I mean, you always playing the Lions, you're always feeling like 4 downs. You're playing 4 downs against these guys. So that makes it tough. But Ben Johnson, he'll call like 3rd and 9. He'll run the ball. And now he's got it 4th and 1 because you're playing, you're going light box, and he just hammers the run, and you don't defend it well. Yeah. This is a hard team to deal with because their coach he just will go for it at any point.
Yeah, that team, it really takes on their coach's attitude in that city. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do. All right, final question for you here, boys. Should we be concerned about Brandon Aubrey?
Oh, he did shank one. I mean, it got blocked, but that was a shank, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, the center Steve got knocked sideways, and it didn't help that they were jumping on your side of the line. Yeah. But you've had a miss. You've had a block. Concerns? Or is this just a blip on the radar?
I'm going to say no. Something about Brandon Aubrey just feels more steady than, and I'm going to bring up a name here, Mike Vanderjagt. You remember Mike Vanderjagt?
Oh, yeah. Idiot kicker.
Yeah, he's a bit of a nutcase. Brandon just seems very just calm, cool, smooth. They call him Butter for a reason. I don't think he's going to change up how he kicks it. It's a flow. He's a former soccer player, right? And most of these guys are nowadays, but I don't know. I just have this weird confidence that he'll be fine. I know it was a weird shank on that play. Yeah. The miss, he shouldn't even have done it, in my opinion. He shouldn't have been kicking it. But no, I feel good. I haven't lost confidence in Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah, I think he's bound to miss one. I mean, missing one is fine. But we're talking about a dude that, he's nailing 65s and bring on 70. Like he's not even worried about the set. He's like, hey, well, maybe one day I can work my way to 70. He said, 70, yeah, for sure, come on, yeah, sure, 70. Like he wants the 70. You know what I mean? Like I like that. He's fine. He's fine. And I don't think he has that. I think the reason you asked this is because once it wasn't Maher, was it the last? Yeah, Maher.
Maher started missing extra points.
Like, man, you just missed one, and we just can't make another one. You know what I mean?
That? Was it that playoff game against Tampa?
He missed 5.
Yeah, and you're like going, what in the blazes is going on here?
Right? How was he on the plane the next week, I would have been looking for a kicker.
He'd have been
because
in
he missed
Orlando.
another kick in that game.
Yeah.
You know, but that's another year. Now, if we get to the Maher area where he's missing 3,
Can
4
you tell?
kicks,
Oh, can you tell? Okay, if it's 3 or 4, is that what you're thinking?
100%.
Yeah.
Then now, because we know how it is with kickers, right? It's all mental.
Yeah.
Once they lose it here and they got the yips, it's tough to get back right on that saddle, man. Unless you're Mason Crosby. I don't know how he had a job for like 10 extra years and he was bad.
Yeah.
But man, just Aubrey, man, it just looks so effortless. It's so smooth.
Yeah.
Like he's barely swinging his leg. He just he just makes it. I'm like, yeah, that dude's all right. He's fine. He's good.
So no worry at all, huh?
I don't want to have to depend on him so much. I would love my offense to damn score, and you know, give me 6 as opposed to him kicking it all the time. But yeah, I feel good about
that's the other part of it too, Big. If you got 100 at bat, you might miss 3. So if he's 97 for 100, that's 97%.
Bryan Broaddus, this man that kicked 70 kicks in 5 weeks. He gonna miss 1. Yeah.
I just want you guys to remember this episode when he lines up and then no good, and you too. I want a text message and apology for both of you guys. No, I think he's fine too. It's amazing how perfect this guy could be, and then he has a miss or two, and you're like going, "Whoa, wow, something up with this guy? Something we need to think about something here." But
it's been a while since I do this with Jesse during game day lives. I'm just like, let me go grab a drink when he goes out to kick. I don't have any worries. It's been a long time since I felt that good, and it hasn't shaken me yet, but. If it happens at the crib, he misses 2 field goals or something.
Yeah, that was you never know, the grass field, little wet, But man, he made the first one. You're kind of like, oh, okay. And the conditions were probably worse then than when he was kicking later on in the game when he had that one thing looked like it was going to miss from the end zone copy. That thing, unless it was going to come back. But man, that thing looked like it was going dead left, But anyway,
I mean, it was raining, Brian. Come on, man, chill out. The field was wet. There was a lot.
I heard 60 miles per hour.
I cannot wait till the comments in the morning. I cannot wait the comments I'm gonna have to read about this one tomorrow. Yeah, Broaddus, you alarmist. What's your problem?
Idiot. You're jinxing them, Big. Yeah, they're gonna be on you.
Aubrey's the least of our worries, Bryan Broaddus.
Least of
yes.
Man, Jerry told me. I asked Jerry today. I don't know if you heard. Sean Sharif asked a question for me for Jerry this morning on the show, and Sean goes, "Hey, Jerry, this question's from Bryan Broaddus," and I texted it to Sean, and I go, ask Jerry if he's interested in opening the roof for the Lions game because it's going to be 90 degrees. I'm thinking, get the Lions haven't played any heat games. They're not practicing in the heat. I go, hey, open the roof. Let's get some 90-degree temperatures in that stadium and all that. And Sean asked Jerry. Jerry goes, hey, tell Brian we got a lot of other things to worry about with the Lions, and he needs to get on his film right now. He needs to get on his film. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, sure thing. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ask a question. You asked Jerry a question about the curtains, the sun.
Yeah, I don't like
stadium. You were going to get an answer of mind your own damn business kind of a thing. You were going to get that answer. So I should have known better than to talk about open up the stadium. That kind of thing.
Well, Brian, tell you what, man, when your team is looking good, it's a soft reset. But when you beat the Steelers, we all in again. So, hey, man, shouts out to Jerry Jones.
They're walking that back, man. They're walking that soft reset stuff back.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens.
Did you see his answer to the sprained nuts thing they asked him about?
What is that?
RJ Choppy's crazy. And if anybody at our station was going to ask him that question, it was going to be RJ.
What did he say?
He said, well, you can do that when you're walking, or you can do that at midnight.
Yeah. You could do it. You could do it walking off the curb. And then he paused and he goes, or you could do it at midnight. And that's when he brought the house down.
That's a good one.
Jerry, look.
I don't have the patience to jack with you today.
I bet he don't, Jack. Sprain this. I bet he jacking with you today. I bet not. Hey man, I appreciate y'all for tapping in with us late at night, man. It's just Tuesday. We do the guest thing, but Will still is family here, And hey, if y'all like this dynamic of the three of us, boy, just one day,
One day,
get something
close. Yeah.
Just hold on, just hold on. We on the way, man. Just a little patience will go a long way. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, appreciate y'all for tapping in with me, man. Y'all follow me on my socials, VOCHLOMBARDI. I ain't talking about much, but Bryan Broaddus over there. He's gonna be up early in the morning reading comments and all up in the chat and on Twitter. So y'all be sure to tap in with him. BRYN Broaddus. But Will Steele though, A to Z Dallas on YouTube in the morning, the best morning show in the whole league. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is.
Absolutely.
And Skywalker Steele on social medias, Twitter. Don't check his Instagram. That's for his personal life. But on his Twitters, check him out over there. He's definitely fussing with some of y'all. All right. We're all gonna be watching the Lions tomorrow. So we're gonna be watching tonight/tomorrow. So be sure to tune in to everybody's show tomorrow. Brian's 5 shows, Sky's morning show, and my 2 or 3. And we'll be talking about the Lions tomorrow. All right, y'all hold it down. We love y'all to pieces. Till next time. Crown.